Welcome to the Navigator podcast. Welcome to the Navigator Academy, Module 46, Building a Process Management Organization. Our guest today is Victor Gonzalez, COO of Lone Star Communication. He brings over 23 years of experience in systems integration, operations, and process management in a wide range of roles and responsibilities. He's been working since about 11 years old, so about the same, Victor, you and I, with the motivation that working harder always provides the opportunity to get to a better spot. Went to a local community college where he studied low voltage electronics. Once he received his certificate, he went out searching to get hands-on experience repairing computers. Somehow, he ended up sealing wall penetrations with Firestop at a communications company. And you've been there ever since. So Victor, thanks for bringing your expertise to this module's discussion on building a process management organization. Couldn't have picked a more knowledgeable person who really has had the hands-on experience, not just books, it's real life.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. So tell me about your quality journey and what you've learned in management organizations.
Started, like you mentioned, starting from the bottom and working my way to the top. I mean, I definitely see that as an advantage. You get to really get in and see everything, and you get to know the expectations of the entire system, the entire project, looking at every process one at a time. The quality journey, as you put it, it's been long. I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of very smart people along the way. One of the things I figured out is that you want to surround yourself with all of those smart people, and don't fear them. Don't fear for your job. Embrace it and encourage it. These people are going to help you ensure that the processes that you have in place and are good, and they're going to challenge it, and they're going to always make sure that it's efficient and effective, and they help to maintain that quality standard.
Great. In your management experience, and I run into this a lot, how did you overcome most people's perception of processes, that painful 7-letter word?
You got to make the process second nature, and that happens when they're simplified. And processes are painful when they're complex and they're cumbersome, and the team is having trouble performing them. So what we figured out what we could do is involve the folks, and help them create the process with you, and you get their buy-in, because then they're the ones that are going to be in being in their shoes, right? And so they're the ones that are actually going to have to do it. And once they understand, they have full control and buy-in of the process, they'll, it becomes second nature, and now it's going. There's not a whole lot of back and forth about it.
Great. In my experience, you run into people who sometimes don't play. So what are some of the tough choices you've had to make in managing people who don't seem to want to adhere to that standardization and improvement?
Yeah, the tough choices, that's usually a last resort for me, and for some of my leaderships. But I can tell you that, they will accept it, the process, once you kind of find out, okay, what is it that you don't like about the process? What is it that you just aren't going to do? Yeah, sometimes you have folks that'll come on that have been here for, been doing the business or in the business,
right,
for 20 plus years. And they're like, what is this you're talking about? Well, usually just get their feedback, okay, well, walk me through your process and why you think this is not going to work for you, and sometimes they'll either, their way may be better, but, so you just got to be willing to accept that maybe yours is not always the best, but at the same time, let them point out to you what it is. And what I found is that when you use facts and you use data, and you can prove it, and you can show them why the way that we're doing it right now is successful, and why maybe the way they're used to doing it isn't, or vice versa. Usually that's what works better than saying, just do it because I said so,
Well, and I think that just bringing that up, when you talked about why, I really believe in kind of the why, what, how. Why are we doing what we're doing? What are we trying to accomplish? And then how do we do it? And so many times with kind of process, I'll call process police, they come in and say, you must do this, do
That's
not
right.
think. And just as you've shared, it's like, no, it's about thinking.
That's right. Yeah.
And that collaboration.
Encouraging that challenging, right? Because hopefully that challenge is is coming from a good place and they want to get better, or they want to know how they can be more efficient.
Right. So when we talk about like the value, how would you quantify the value of building a process management organization? And I know you've got several examples.
Sure. As COO here at Lone Star and working with other COOs, because our different divisions that we have across the state and everywhere else. I mean, gosh, you think about, how can I give you some tangible examples? It's like, well, just look at the growth, the speed that we're growing and how we're getting there. And it's because of the processes we've put in place and the way the systems that we put in place, like 𝙀𝙧𝙤𝙬𝙤 is one of those systems that we have as that's our management piece, right? That's a real big part of what we do and how it's kept things filed in and together. It allows us to grow faster. It allows us to train. It allows us to keep, you document your processes and they're easy to find, and you can go and the one person can backfill the other, right? And so that's usually that's what I would kind of point to.
Okay. I know Ray's a pilot, and we're definitely checklist manifesto people.
Checklist, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So how do you find the importance? And that part of it's training, but where do you fit with checklists and just the need and how do?
I mean, it's 100% the foundation, right? Having your checklist in place. I mean, we are currently working on a checklist that's it's an all-inclusive checklist, and it's pretty cool because from the checklist manifesto and from everybody kind of getting along with the program, as far as the documentation and filling in those boxes. And so we're like, okay, we had one of our senior director of engineering, Hayden. He's working on this checklist for the sales team, that out of asking the team, what is it, something, what do you feel is missing? What do you think's here? Is well, we had this right up front. So it's going to be it's almost like the grail of like, hey, this is the project, here's this checklist, and it's going to have all the information. So when you get me talking about checklists, yeah, it's definitely a main pillar right there.
Well, and just, yeah, thank you. From just what you said, it's like in any process, it's like you're serving your customer. So is sales really serving people downstream? And the people downstream build the checklist, because it's like, these are the answers we need. And then it's understanding that value.
Yep.
Cool. What business book are you reading? Again, we love our book club.
So right now I'm reading a book from Kevin Dugan. It's Design for Operational Excellence. And I went through it already once. I'm going through it again, just to kind of capture things that you missed the first time. And it's about getting lean and value streaming and so we're in this program with him in his group to help us get better at our processes. And it's pretty neat. And it's really this whole thing has really helped us define some of our value streams and know what a value stream is. A lot of people don't know what a value stream is and what it takes. And it's documenting your processes and how to get better and learning where you have your redundancy and trying to eliminate some of that stuff. So that's what I got going on.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. I've enjoyed the conversation. Thanks.
Yeah, same here, Brad. Thank you. Thanks for having us. For having me, Lone Star. Yeah, great.
And Lone Star. Again, you guys are, to me, one of the pinnacles of process.
Well, thank you.
You bet.